The Declaration of Independence was not supposed to decide independence. Thomas Jefferson's assignment was explain to the world why America had done this. That surprises a lot of people because most people think the Declaration created our independence, but in reality, Congress had already voted for independence on July 2nd through the Lee Resolution. As I shared in a previous video, the actual document written by Virginian Richard Henry Lee and introduced to the Second Continental Congress on June 7th, 1776. In that resolution, Lee wrote, "Resolved that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be free and independent states, and that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown." That's the actual resolution Congress adopted on July 2nd. However, the world needed to know why. On June 11th, 1776, the Continental Congress appointed the Committee of Five to prepare the document. Thomas Jefferson accepted the assignment, working mostly alone in a rented room in Philadelphia. He spent about 7 days crafting what would become one of history's most influential documents. But he wasn't inventing new ideas. Jefferson drew inspiration from Enlightenment philosopher John Locke, George Mason's Virginia Declaration of Rights, colonial petitions, and his own earlier writings. He later insisted that simply expressing sheer beliefs of the American people. On June 28th, the draft was presented to Congress. Then came the editing. Over the next several days, delegates made roughly 86 changes, removing about 1/4 of Jefferson's original writing. They softened the emotional language, tightened the legal arguments, and made the document speak with one unified voice. But one edit, however, became legendary. Jefferson originally wrote, "We hold these truths to be sacred and undeniable." Benjamin Franklin suggested changing those words to, "We hold these truths to be self-evident." Franklin shifted America's argument from an appeal to something sacred, to one rooted in reason and universal human rights. It resonates to this day. Congress approved the final text on July 4th, 1776. That evening, printer John Dunlap began producing the first copies. About 4 weeks later, Timothy Matlack carefully penned the famous handwritten parchment that we see to this day. And on August 2nd, 1776, most of the delegates present signed the engrossed parchment, while several others added their signatures over the following weeks and months.